Unity, along with the strengthening numbers of the youth, two factors the ruling party is relying on to ensure victory in the 2024 elections. President Cyril Ramaphosa has expressed his confidence, saying the ANC is ready for a win. The party is concluding its elections workshop in Boksburg today. eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge is following these developments, and he joins me now in studio for the very latest. A very good afternoon to you, Sipha. Can you walk us through the party's history when it comes to elections and what makes them confident that they are ready for a win?
Well, indeed, it's been a steady decline if you take into account that from 2009, 2014, as well as 2019, it's a governing party that is facing an electoral decline and the prospects of losing power in the near future. And that's something that worries them if you take into account that if we do have that graphic, we can roll it and see how they've been performing. Particularly in 2009, they registered about 65% of the votes, if I'm not mistaken. Then in 2014, they were sitting at 62. And then in 2019, they were at 57. You get a sense that this shows a steady decline in their electoral fortunes. And it's something that they would want to change moving forward, because they say this is a do-or-die election for the ANC. They are not so much so worried about what the opposition is doing, but they are worried about the fact that their traditional voter base is not going out in numbers to vote. And we witnessed that during the 2021 local government elections. Political analysts and experts are predicting that moving forward in 2024, you could have a situation whereby ANC voters and supporters decide not to go and vote, and that will reduce their majority, whereas the opposition may grow because their members and their supporters may go out to vote. So this National Elections Strategy Workshop is aimed at addressing that electoral decline. Remember, if you are a governing political party, you do not wake up one day and lose power. It starts with a steady decline in your electoral fortunes, and it eventually leads to you losing power in the near future.
Very interesting insights there indeed, Sipha. I mean, ANC First Deputy Secretary General Nomvula Mokonyane has now called for unity within the party. Tell us more about that, because it's not the first time unity has been called for within the ruling party.
I guess that's what they're trying to do. They have to close ranks. If they were to win the elections, they need each and every member of the ANC, including those who are disgruntled, to come back, close ranks, and basically campaign for the ANC, because they will need all their volunteers, all their members and all their supporters to work together to ensure that they go out there and they campaign for the ANC. So this unity and renewal project will be crucial for them. Of course, it's not been easy to achieve that, because since 2017, that's the mandate that they were given by the elective Congress of the ANC. Even in 22, that mandate was renewed. But this unity and renewal project appears to be elusive. They are chasing it, but it's not coming together. Nomvula Mokonyane is saying they are ready for the battle that will come, but they would need to be united for it. Let's please take a listen to her.
We gathered here as the African National Congress, joined by the Tripartite Alliance, the leagues, our provinces, and other organizations of the mass democratic movement, to start preparing ourselves and all our structures towards the coming general elections. The President has already set the tone, and key in his message is that every member and supporter of the ANC is a volunteer of the African National Congress. That we must go back to our communities with humility and present the successes that we have been able to achieve, acknowledge the challenges, but give a response as to what is going to be done with the challenges that affect our communities. Work together and ensure that we mobilize the youth of our community for a victory in the coming general elections. The bottom line is that we're gearing ourselves up towards a victorious elections campaign, of course led by Comrade President Cyril Ramaphosa.
And of course, the president saying that it's a done deal months ahead of that critical event.
Well, he has to sound convincing. Others will ask, is he being realistic if you take into account the numbers and the electoral fortune from 2009, 2014, as well as 2019? Yes, he is the leader of the governing African National Congress. They are trying to retain political power. So he will tell his forces that, listen, we are in charge, we've got this. But realistically, they are panicking because their own internal polls that they are discussing are painting a very bleak picture about the upcoming elections. They wouldn't go out and tell people that we will lose an election. They will always be positive about it. But this is the governing African National Congress that is leading an administration that is basically struggling with sluggish economic growth, rolling blackouts that are affecting businesses and households. You are talking about rampant corruption, violent crime. They have registered a number of achievements in terms of providing basic services to the people in terms of housing, electricity and water. But at the same time, challenges remain. So the president of the governing ANC will always put up a brave face and sound convincing, but deep down, he knows that it's not looking good for them. And they are saying they are campaigning to win the elections. They are not even thinking about the possibility of forming a coalition with other political parties. But those are the options that they will be discussing on the side to say, if we do not win decisively or convincingly, how are we going to take this forward? Let's take a listen to the president of the ANC.
If we can master this, how we carry our campaign forward, how we plaster the whole country from wall to wall with an ANC message and have really effective volunteers, as of old in our campaigning method, this election is ours and victory is certain. And I'd like to end by saying we're not campaigning to go into coalition. We are campaigning for an outright victory, and our people are ready. Our various mass organizations are also ready to interact with us. Let us go out and engage with various sectors of society.
Well, they're going to have to pull some kind of magic trick, Siphamandla Goge, if they're going to be winning that election next year comfortably so. That is senior reporter Siphamandla Goge bringing us the very latest from the elections workshop that the ANC hosted, their plan for 2024's elections.